morning, everyone. I'm Karen Leo, and I'm head of missions for UWF. And you know Laura. You've met Laura. So what's happening this morning? The format's kind of an interview process. I'm kind of Barbara Walters. And, and Laura is my subject, the star of the day, because she's led us for so long. And so I'd like to start out by asking you, you've been involved in UMW, I think, since you came to our church in 2000. Why? I mean, what?
Why? I really started and I'm going to call it UMW for a while because it was UMW,
Yes.
while living in Salt Lake City, Utah, and that was probably 25 years ago. I was new to the church, and I was invited to attend a UMW meeting. I was doubtful as I worked and I didn't know what I was going to get into, and I didn't want any more responsibility. However, I enjoyed the meeting, felt comfortable, met the women of UMW and the church, and attended till I moved to California. The first time I attended a meeting here in California was on a Tuesday in 2000 at Kathy Fry's home. There were 3 women, Kathy Fry, Virginia Bailey, and Rosemary Bowser, president at the time. And both those women have passed on. And listening to them, I knew they were sages, and I was hooked. I wanted to learn more. I told them if they had meetings on Saturday, I would attend as I was working. So once you make a commitment, you're there forever. But anyway, for the next years, I listened and learned from them. At our meetings, we had potluck in homes. Everyone brought something. We enjoyed fellowship and made friends. And Maxine Thornton always brought Jell-O with cottage cheese and pineapple, always. So we knew that she was there when that was there. As time went on in our unit, many passed, and we had to encourage those to join us. Kathy Fry has been my mentor and friend over the years. She has the best ideas, and I am blessed to have her at my side. And that's Kathy Fry down there. There are no words to thank her for her kind words and advice. As you can see today, we have 13 on the board, and last year 41 in our unit.
Wow. And that's a long time in leadership. And you've been a leader all this time, and if not president, which has been most of it, just a few years sabbatical a few times, but still in leadership.
But I've done treasurer. I did secretary. I was vice president. I mean, I was doing all these things. Never thought I'd be president. Never. But I also know that UMW, United Methodist Women in Faith, is very important to me.
Well, why? Why does it compel you to such a commitment? I mean, for every year of since 2000, you've been involved. What does UMW give you?
I get from the women that I work with, for one thing, they are the friendship, the community. I knew in my heart I had something to give all of us, and together we are making it happen. If I didn't know what to do, I always called Kathy Fry. She always told me what to do. And she still does. And she was president at what time years ago. In addition, both my daughter, Wendy, and I wanted to serve and make a difference in our unit, in the community, and we were both accepted and cared for here. I have gained a church family, yikes, and wonderful friends, and this was my way of giving back to God, UMW, the church, and the community. And I think I need a Kleenex.
I don't have one.
That's okay, I'll work through it. No. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm done.
This woman has a real commitment to UWF, you can tell.
I love it. Anyway.
So what is...
Oh, here
Yay,
comes
Ruth.
Lifesaver, Ruth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Hang on just 1 second so I can read. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go.
So what does UMW, UWF stand for? What does this organization do?
You know, the best to explain UMW is to read our purpose. And we read this every time we have a meeting. And we only have 4 meetings a year. But we have book clubs in between and other things. In your bulletin, you'll find a green paper, which is our purpose. And I'd like us to read it together. So I'll give you a moment to find it. And just so you know, the organized unit of United Women in Faith shall be a community of women whose purpose is to know God and to experience freedom as whole persons through Jesus Christ, and to develop a creative, supportive fellowship, and to expand concepts of mission through participation in the global ministries of the church. There's more. Hang on. Sorry. As we serve women, children, and youth, we fulfill this locally and supporting organizations that serve these missions. We also have our hands-on with many of the organizations.
And we do, and that's what's next in our program, Laura. A lot of what we do is fundraising and stuff for missions. You support our fundraising efforts. In turn, we give to those who help women, youth, and children. So we have given to 8 organizations this year. We raised $11,000 to be distributed, and so we divided them equally among the 8. And so that was $1,375 to each, which is a nice chunk of change. We've asked persons connected with each of these 8 organizations to give a brief presentation about what the organization is and how our funds may impact them, and how they themselves may be impacted. And so I'll introduce them one at a time, but I need to get a microphone here so they can hear them. First off is Kathy Fry, who is speaking about African University.
One thing that Methodists know a lot about, and they do very well, is to start universities. They've started many of them around the United States. I won't list them, but check it out. They've started very many great universities. 33 years ago, a group of bishops, along with some ministers, decided that they needed to start a university in Africa. Can you hear me? Yes. Good. I have a voice. And so a group of ministers headed by...
Somebody needs to hold it for her.
I got it. Headed by Tom Trotter, a Methodist minister and a president.
Where's the popcorn?
We'll go again. Anyway, this group of ministers headed by Tom Trotter, who was a Methodist minister and a university president, went to Africa to find a place to build a university. They wanted to develop leadership for Africa. Well, they went to Zimbabwe, and when they were in Mutare visiting a Methodist mission, the people at the mission said, "You see that road out there that leads into town? We own all the land on the other side of that road. You're welcome to build a university there." And so it happened. The university's been going for 30 years this year. and it has departments of education, of agriculture, of nursing, economics, and many more. I was very fortunate to be able to go to Africa with my husband. He started a university press. He was an old professor and said every university needs a university press. While we were there, Chancellor Marapa said to me, "We don't have the bookstore open because we have no one to run it." And Ed said, "Well, Kathy used to own her own store." So I opened the bookstore and ran it for part of a year and trained someone to take over when I left. It was one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. There are young people coming from 38 countries all over Africa to Africa University, and over 1,300 students right now. They are definitely developing leadership. When we came back from Africa, this church, this very church, sent a large work team over there, including Kay, Ginny Wheeler. Jim Jones is in the back of the church hiding today. Kay, who else in here? Joy went. Monica went. Anyway, a large group went. And we also have a faculty home named after this church that Ed and I raised the money for with the help of many people in this church. It's a great university and one that I'm very proud to be a part of and have experience with. Thank you.
And Laura is going to tell us about David and Margaret Youth and Family Services. This is a long time UMW, UWF organization we support. Oh, you don't need it.
Good night, nurse. My passion for David and Margaret Youth and Family Services came the day we took a field trip to the location. I fell in love with the location. It is 17 acres of beautiful landscape. Of course, there's buildings on it and trees, and it's just lovely. And currently, it's for boys and girls. At the time we visited, they were only helping runaway girls. We were so impressed, we had the opportunity to sponsor a home. And there were 6 girls in the home. And we would go over there, we met the girls, we saw what they need, we would bring stuff for their house. Many people made curtains and couch covers. And Kathy Fry even siliconed the tub. As I said before, I learned from her. We were connected for a year before the house was closed. In 1910, Henry Coons, First Bank president, completes the Laverne Hotel, which he started to build in 1892. He donates it to the Women's Home Ministry Society of the Methodist Church to be used as the area's first orphanage. In 1925, Laverne Hotel had fallen into despair. Mr. Coons donates land and funds to build a safe facility for orphans. That building was completed in 1925 and today is known as the Whitney Building. I just thank the Lord for Henry Coons. Today, David and Margaret Haynes and Haynes Family of Program merged in March 2021, are under the umbrella of Haynes, but remain 2 separate entities. Today, over 1,700 youth, young adults from David and Margaret each year to access services and programs to renew hope and inspire change, special education, foster family services, transitional housing, workforce development like the Drop-In Center. Haynes was founded in 1946, serving just a handful of children, and grew to one of the largest comprehensive nonprofit organizations dedicated to helping children with special needs relating to emotional development, autism, Asperger disorder, abuse, neglect, and abandonment. Haynes' family of programs and David and Margaret's portfolio of programs include foster care and adoption. I just can't say enough about what they do for our youth. We are we, United Methodist, whatever we are, United Women in Faith, so sorry. This is what we do. We do mission work for children and families. And so David and Margaret are doing it. And we connect with them. We go over there for field trips. And I just can't say enough about this organization. Anyway, please stop by. We have a marketing table in the back, in the fellowship hall. When you're getting your refreshments, look at the literature that's there on all our organizations. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Next is Sue Doomy, who is involved with Family Assistance Ministries.
I know some of you are familiar with Family Assistance Ministries, and it's a program that I got involved in about 6 years ago. A friend of mine invited me to an open house, and just walking through their facilities warmed my heart and made such a difference and impact in how I wanted to spend my time. So I immediately got involved in their program, and I worked at their front desk. And over that time, I met so many wonderful people who were down on their luck, just having a difficult time. And Family Assistance Ministries worked hard with many, many of these people to make a difference in their life, to help them turn their lives around. So it's a very soft spot in my heart. I'd like to read you just some of the statistics from Family Assistance Ministries for 2022. They have spent $7.9 million for food and shelter. Over 1,600 women and children have been safely housed. Every 2.5 days, an 18-wheeler of food is distributed. 2,000 volunteers, 1,300 from San Clemente, and 1,300 from San Clemente, 1,300, and the rest would be from other areas, distribute food each and every week to these people. The facility is open Monday through Friday. They're open the second Saturday of the month to provide food for anyone who comes. No questions answered. They're given the food. They serve 1,832 seniors, receive housing and housing aid, and over 1,600 people have transitioned through their shelter program and found permanent housing. And it was just so wonderful to see pictures of these women who, single moms living in their cars, found their way to FAM, and they made a difference in their life. One of the stories I wanted to share was when I was at the front desk, a young man came in. He had just been released from a rehabilitation center. He was clean and sober, but he had no way to get home to his family back on the East Coast. And he wanted to be there with them for their support to continue on his journey. FAM swiftly sat him down, talked with members of his family back on the coast, and asked them if they were willing to support him, which they were. They arranged for his transportation, and he was home in 3 days. So they touched the lives of many people. And the program started in San Clemente by a woman, I forget her first name, but her last name is Gilchrist. They have a home that specifically houses women and children. They've now opened up a second home that houses families, husbands, wives, and children. And so they're making a difference every day. Like I said, it started in San Clemente, but now they are servicing the entire South Orange County area, all the way from San Clemente up to Lake Forest, Irvine, the entire area. Anyone in that area can come and be a part of the Family Assistance Ministry family. So it's very dear to my heart, and I appreciate all they do.
quick question, is that where our egg cartons go?
Oh, yes. You go into Fellowship Hall, you see a pallet, a little carton that says egg cartons. Those egg cartons I pick up, and I usually share them with the Laguna Food Pantry because they also are in need of them. What happens is the egg suppliers, the eggs are getting ready to expire, whatever, well, they bring them on these big flat pallets. There may be 12 dozen or so on a pallet. Well, they have no way for the clients to get the eggs home. So all of your used cartons are collected and brought down to either FAM or to Laguna Beach, Laguna Food Pantry for reuse.
Thank you. So, Kay Ostenson, I know you have an intimate relationship with Friendship Shelter, I believe. Would you tell us about it? Oh, you're
can't
mine.
hold that because I don't. How's my mic doing? Okay. Okay, thanks. Friendship Shelter story began 32 years ago when Father Cornelison, a beloved priest at St. Mary's, was in hot water for letting homeless persons sleep in the pews. I still remember the joyous day when an ecumenical committee heard the news that they had secured a location in Laguna Beach with a 3-story new building. Well, it's actually very old building, rickety building, but for the shelter to come across from the Pottery Shack here in Laguna. Decades later, Friendship is Orange County's largest nonprofit serving the unhoused community. There are 4 shelter locations, you know them: Laguna Canyon, Laguna Beach, Dana Point, and San Clemente, as well as a corporate office now that is in Laguna Hills. There are 87 persons housed within those shelters every night, and there are an additional 155 persons who are in tiny self-sufficiency apartments who have been housed, many who lived on the streets for years before getting the great joy of having a tiny kitchen, a restroom, shelter. Our church is known and appreciated by Friendship's executive board, as well as their now 141 staff. One reason is our generous offering of Hilton Hall. And so we've hosted quarterly staff meetings here up until the pandemic. Another is our meal service. I added up, and it's been 13 years since the emergency shelter opened, so we've covered every Wednesday night. Different churches cover a different night. That's over 670 meals. I'd like you, instead of going to the gym today, to help me out a little bit with aerobics. Please raise your hand if you are a team lead for one of the ASL dinner teams. Dory. Okay, no applause until the end. Sorry, no applause until the end. Keep those hands up and add your hand if you're on a team for the ASL or ever have been. Wonderful. Okay, please keep them up. Now, if you've ever joined one of the work projects, I think we have a slide. Do we, Mike? I don't know. One of the work projects for the Friendship Shelter. So if you've gone on the National Change the World Sunday, you've gone to go and paint or rebuild or garden, fill Wayne's truck, all of those teams. And we, in 19, before the pandemic, we redesigned and created a lemon yellow yummy kitchen at the Silver Lantern Shelter in Dana Point, and it's still in perfect shape. People were able to cook in community, which they love. Going on. Slade Carlton devotes time every day in bringing support to our unhoused community surrounding Main Beach. Please keep your hand up if you've joined in a beach cleanup or with Slade or Lisa LaCourte serving dinners at the Bridge Housing. That counts. Last but not least are our financial contributions coming to the shelter from United Women of Faith and Lenten offerings. We are well known and well appreciated for being tremendous donors. And so raise your hand if you've donated supplies, funds, or prayers to Friendship Shelter. You can see, looking around you why we're considered good neighbors to them. And thank you for all of your efforts.
Thank you, Kay. Next, we have Laguna Food Pantry, sort of an affiliate, Kat Wallace.
Good morning. The Laguna Food Pantry is located down in the canyon, like near the Pacific Marine Mammal Center and the dog park. It's been open and serving the community since 1993. So with my math, it's like 30 years. They serve food to the underserved, homeless, disabled, veterans, immigrants who have come here from other countries. They open their doors 5 days a week, and they don't ask for any proof of need. Everyone is welcome. Their motto is, we believe no one should go hungry. Since the pandemic, obviously these numbers have risen, how many people are in need. Before the pandemic, they were distributing approximately 650,000 pounds of food a year. Now it's almost 2 million pounds of food a year. That was 2 million. The staff didn't have all the final numbers for 2022 quite yet, but for 2021, over 11,470 people were fed. So we know that that number is going to be even higher for this last year. A lot of people live with food insecurity. How am I going to buy food this year, this month even? Do I buy my diabetes medication? Do I buy my child's asthma medication? Or do I buy eggs and milk? So I know our church has been donating food to this food pantry for years. Wayne and I would load our truck up, our Tundra truck, the pickup, and drive it down to a much appreciative staff down at the pantry. So we appreciate all the food that you have donated also, but the food isn't always the important part. It's the monetary donation that we were able to give United Women in Faith. So this way the staff can go out and buy fresh produce, some fresh meat, eggs and milk to supplement the dry goods that are donated from the community. So we appreciate all of that. 90 cents of every dollar donated goes towards helping to feed those food insecure individuals and families. So we're very proud to continue to support the Laguna Food Pantry. And you as a congregation, please continue to bring your peanut butter and your cereal and the rice and everything so we can take it down once a month. Slade Carlton, I think, is now doing it, taking the food down there. We truly believe that no one should go hungry. Thanks.
Thank you, Kat, very much. These really are good organizations which we're contributing. I'm very proud of UMWF. And Laura's House, Joy. Tell us about Laura's House.
Laura's House is the only South Orange County domestic violence services agency. They are coming up on their 30th year of being open. Unfortunately, Laura's House was started after a real woman lost her life in domestic violence, named Laura, and her mother and sister joined with a group of women down in Ladera Ranch area to open an emergency shelter in this area. Laura's House also has, in addition to the emergency shelter, which is in a confidential location, of course, there's transitional living apartments that they're able to move women and children after the 30 to 60 day stay in the emergency shelter into their own apartments for sometimes up to 1 to 2 years, depending on when they can secure a job and housing. They also have excellent education opportunities, and actually, we didn't work for Laura's House, but both Beth Chapman and I worked for their partner agency, Human Options, doing domestic violence education and then services when we were young social workers and before and after graduate school. And so that's something that we really believe in, is the educational piece. I love Laura's House mission. It's to change social beliefs, attitudes, and the behaviors that perpetuate domestic violence while creating a safe space in which to empower individuals and families affected by abuse. And that feels so important to me because it's something that we really try to focus on as a community and when talking with children and youth about healthy relationships and ways to deal with our feelings and healthy dynamics and interactions. So I love that Laura's House is so focused not only on the services to immediate families in need, but also looking at some of the causational issues that are contributing to domestic violence and many of the issues that we've talked about today. We have been long supporters as a church of Laura's House through United Women in Faith and lots of ways that we give of dollars and time. And it's also really exciting to see as they move into their 30th year, they've really grown that educational piece. I work at a local high school, and their educators come out so regularly and have such an impact on the kids, talking about how to be healthy in relationships, friendships, dating relationships in families. That the high school formed their own club for healthy relationships called Heart. And it's really neat to see that the kids are now talking about this and so committed to how to maintain health in all of their relationships. So thank you all for your continued support to Laura's House.
Thank you, Joy. You have knowledge that I've not heard, so I appreciate your contribution. Okay, Jennifer Young is going to talk about Orquizwa, which is also it's the school that is part of the Indigenous Educational Foundation of Tanzania. It's near and dear to many of us, and she'll tell you why.
Good morning. So there have been 5 LBUMC missions over to Africa, and the first one we mentioned earlier was to Zimbabwe, but 4 of those are to the Orquizwa School, which is located in a very, very rural area of northern Tanzania. My son Devin and I had the opportunity to be a part of the mission team in 2016. Now each trip takes about a year to plan. The details are endless, and because I'm limited, I'm not going to tell you all of them, but a few of those details include fundraising for the school, student sponsorships, gathering school supplies, medical supplies, and much more. Now, during our time at Orquizwa, we divided up into work teams, and there were a variety of projects that we could work on, such as teaching English, reading, and writing, updating signage for the school and the roads leading up to the campus, painting a mural on a wall, which was awesome because the students got involved. It was fantastic. Digging what would be a water reservoir. Since the school does not have plumbing, accessing water is difficult, and they actually made accommodations for us. We had special bottled water brought in just to take care of us. And then also stocking medical supplies, and that's only naming a few items. One does not have to physically visit Tanzania to share their support. Many sponsor individual students or multiple students that attend the school. Yes, sponsoring does include some financial support, but it also includes building a relationship with your student, and most of this is done through letter writing, old school pen to paper. It's fantastic. Let's see. All of this support has brought so many opportunities to the school. So here's just a few highlights from the 2021 and 2022 annual reports. They have a 100% graduation rate, and 100% of those students, as a teacher, this makes me happy. They get to go to college. Sorry. I'm just doing so good. Oh, I'm good. I just squeak. I just get squeaky. Okay, so they have 54 new students that have recently joined, which brings their Orquizwa School student body to 359 students. They have an active sports program, which also allows these students to travel. They've never left their area, their home, the dirt roads, and so it allows them to see the world. They employ 25 alumni in various positions, with 7 alumni serving in leadership roles. And this is, again, really important to me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. They, through their outreach, community outreach, they're now in 8 local elementary school areas. And that reaches nearly 5,000 students, the majority of which are female. And that's huge. So as you can see, I am inspired. I hope that you are. And if you have any questions, please let any of us know. If you want to go online, check it out. There's so much available online. But I also took 2,000 pictures. So if you ever want to see some pictures, let me know. I have some. We can make that happen. So thank you.
So it's clear that we are invested in Arkeeswa. We care about Arkeeswa, all of us. I think anybody who went on those mission trips. Thank you. Vera's Sanctuary, it's specifically the teen project aspect of Vera's Sanctuary. Debbie Doomey, you've become very involved.
Yes, Lori Burns was a young woman who spoke at one of our UMW meetings, and after her speech, it just grabbed me. So I started working with her immediately. She's a young lady who has spent several years providing places, a safe place for young women who are either homeless, victims of sex trafficking, or drug addiction. Now, Lori was a victim of all three of those. And after several years living that life, she finally turned her life around, found some donors, and started building facilities for these young ladies. It's been several years now. The total project is called the Teen Project, which includes a facility for drug treatment for girls that are coming right off the street, a crisis residential treatment center, there is a home in Santa Margarita where some of the girls who are going to college live there. And then there's Vera's Sanctuary, which is a set of 5 homes up a canyon road in Trabuco Canyon, right above Rosa's Cantina. 3 of the homes are now designated for sex trafficking, drug addiction, and homeless. One of the homes is now for young pregnant women, and one of them just started up as a home for foster care. When we started, Sue Doomey and Rosemary Zettler and I went up. There was one young lady, Melina. We met her and her advisor, and we took her to Joanne's fabric store and bought fabric, and we made a quilt with Melina. Took us about 4 weeks. We went every Tuesday, and we made dinner. Slowly, more and more girls were added, and we would make quilts with them and cook dinner. And right before COVID started, and as more girls started coming, I enlisted more and more UMW women. So we had a whole group, a complicated schedule. We would go up there. When we went right before COVID started, we had dinners for 40 rather than just 3 or 4. We were known as the cooking grandmas, quilting and cooking grandmas, and Lori made a book, cookbook about us. After COVID, there got to be too much with all those girls, so we are now working with just the kids in foster care. The girls, my understanding, have a choice of going into a foster family, going to Orangewood, or coming to Vera's Sanctuary and living up there in that house. And what we do now is make flower arrangements that they can take back to their bedroom, put together simple velour blankets, and again, we make dinner. One of the favorite things for all of us is to sit around the dinner table with these girls, because for many of them, they didn't have anybody who cooked for them. So working in a kitchen was not something that they knew how to do. And sitting at a table all together and talking was different for them. And so it was something we really enjoyed. Anyway, that's Vera's Sanctuary.
Well, thank you to all of these women, because they all are themselves giving individually. So Laura.
Where are we?
Well, so we have contributed time and probably monetarily, but where do the monies that UWF gives to all of these organizations, where do those monies come from?
You know, we raise funds through membership donation, We have fundraisers. Each year, our fundraisers are ideas from our women. We once it's planned, we all pitch in. We make it happen. We invite the congregation, and we raise more money, hopefully. And we're raising funds for mission through an event and invite the congregation. In the meantime, we have a great time working together. I personally want to thank you, to those of you who donated and sent your contributions. I sent a letter out the middle of the month, and you may have gotten it, and hopefully you've replied to it. If not, we have them after the service, a letter, a card, and if you'd like to donate, we'd love that. The women who come up with the ideas, I'm still thinking, sorry, ideas, the women who make it happen, and thanks to the congregation. You are important to us, and we couldn't make this happen if it wasn't for you.
Well, I want to say that not only do we appreciate all the work the women do, and you all do a ton, but all of you as congregants have come to our events. You've supported our fundraisers, and so it's really all of us that have gotten behind these organizations and are giving. So thank you. So besides reporting to our church community about their contributions, where they're going, what is our message today?
Our message today is United Women in Faith is open to all women of the church, all ages and backgrounds. Everyone has something to contribute and to receive. In addition to growth and faith, UMW provides friendship and fellowship, meetings 4 times a year, which isn't a lot, so come join us. Book group, we meet every other month, and we are still on Zoom with that. Educational and fun retreats, we have field trips, luncheons, and service to others. As we serve, what we receive is development of faith. We want all women of the church to be involved, and I am asking you to fill out the questionnaire that's in your bulletin. It's, I don't know what color it is. Blue? Oh, purple. It's purple. If you would fill it out, and so we have your thoughts and areas of interest. You can put it in the basket or give it to one of us. We are looking forward to learning of your ideas as we may do things differently for you to connect with us. Praise God for these women and the church. We couldn't do what we do without His love and guidance.
Thank you. And thank all of you for your presentations. Thank you for being present with us today. And Laura, thank you for your years of service and telling us your story. And before we dismiss everybody up here, I'd like Sue Doomy, our vice president, has a couple words. Yes. Oh, just a moment. There you go.
Here we go.
Okay.
Well, as you can see, it takes many of us to achieve the success that we've had here at Laguna Beach United Women in Faith. And we have that support. We have a wonderful group of women who work hard, who share their talents and their energies to make our unit here at Laguna Beach so successful. But like our choir this morning, if we didn't have Megan to direct us, we might flounder. Well, that's what we probably would do without the steadfast love and commitment from Laura. So, on behalf of United Women in Faith, this is for you.
Thank you.
And you need to open it now.
No, man. This is not, oh no. Do I need to read it?
It's up to you. It's totally up to you.
You want more tears, eh? Oh my gosh. Get on me. Bless your heart for all the ways you find to be so nice. Bless your hands for giving without even thinking twice. Bless your thoughts for knowing just the perfect thing to do. You are a gift of love and faith. Oh my gosh, I'm truly blessed by you. With our love and appreciation, United Women in Faith. Thank you. And what? Oh, wow. How did that happen? That's like, am I one of these organizations?
Almost.
Thank you. I love these women.
We love you, and
Thank
we
you.
thank you for all of your energy and support that you give all of us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you.